So to quickly cover how I use monks, this is not how everyone uses monks, but I always control group my monks and it seems to work the best. I'm just going to show you how I go about control grouping my monks. Usually I would start with my 10 monks here. If they're not already control grouped, or have just been in a fight and lost a couple of monks, so they're not in the right order and nothing is really sorted, then the first thing I do is I send them back the way. This gives you an extra few seconds while you control group them, a little bit of extra distance, just make sure you don't really get caught that easily by other units. That is always important. So, select them all, move them back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. While holding control, usually with my pinky. I usually use middle finger, index finger to go up these numbers, and I transition to my thumb later. With a lot of practice, you get very quick at this. Every time, for example, select all your monks, control 1, and still holding control as you left click. Now on one of your units down here, it will deselect it. And then you can take control group 2. That means we deselected one monk that was on control group 1. So we're not affecting him anymore, he's still on control group 1. These are now on 2. Deselect 1, we do control group 3. The one that we deselected is still on 2. So basically we do that until we get all the way up. And we have monks on 10 different control groups. That way we hit 1 right click, 2 right click, 3 right click. And we can very quickly take them all out of the game. You'll notice that I'm just doing this in HT just to show that you can do it with the 10th control group. On Vubley you only have control groups 1 to 9, on HT you have 0 as well. Hopefully this makes it a little bit more clear, but as you can see we have 10 knights very quickly. If someone's sending 10 light cav towards you, this will let you convert at least a majority of them. And if you convert a majority and you keep your monks alive by moving them back, moving them around your light cav, making sure you use the light cav you target to kill their light cav, then you're actually going to be doing okay, because you'll probably kill them all in the end. But as I said, practice makes perfect, you get really quick at doing it. And make a few mistakes in the meantime. There we go. And yeah, just with a bit of practice you get really fast at it. Let's just bring in an additional 10 monks, speed this up a little bit because monks are a really slow unit. As I said, whenever you're doing control grouping, you always want to move back. So let's say you're an Imperial and you get Theocracy. Then it's a really good move to just do control 1 double click, control 2 double click. And just basically repeat that the whole way until you have 2 monks on each group. This way you could cycle through 1 to 10 to just convert them all. Or in Vubley's case 1 to 9. And then as soon as that's done, like give it a few minutes, for example, here, well not a few minutes, but you know, a good 5 seconds, most of them are already done converting. Just simply go through the cycle again. And obviously they'll convert a bit faster that way. When you have Theocracy and 2 monks converting, then you've got 2 chances of converting them. You can convert them quite fast, you can convert them quite slow, it's kind of random how fast you're going to convert them. But this gives you an extra chance to convert them a bit faster if the 1 monk you've got is converting them slow. So that's really helpful to have. Let's just delete these so we don't end the scenario. Again, if you just keep adding in monks, every time you add in a couple of monks, then just quickly do it like that, and then you've already control grouped all your monks and you can really quickly right click with all of them. Practice does make perfect with this, but yeah, you don't really need it. Let's say we lose 5 monks. Not entirely sure if I did that correctly, but attribute 2 to the first 5 for example, and then 1 to each of the rest of the groups. This seems to be the best way. You want multiple monks on your lower groups. It tends to make it quite a bit easier to then just cycle back through the numbers. You want those numbers to be converting first, and that way when you convert with them again, then they've probably already finished, whereas the ones you've converted up here are not going to be done. Before you have Theocracy, I like to just dump a bunch of monks on control group 0. I did not fully intend to finish this scenario, let's quickly restart that. So, for example, if we don't have Theocracy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 on Vubley, or 10 on HD. Dump them all at the end. This way you could do a really basic, you know, like less common monk using technique, but it's probably easier, and I've seen Slam use it actually. The way this works is you can either use these guys to convert buildings when you have redemption. I usually do it to just mass convert an enemy's base if they're dead and you want to try and get the best value out of their base. For example, in the team game, you sort of win the 1v1 sort of component of a flank vs a flank. So you just want to convert their buildings, then you would just do this. Just deselect one at a time and send them on the buildings. What someone like Slam would use is they would put the units in the bottom left position, sort of over the deselect. They would hold control, deselect one at a time, and they would just spam their monks like this. This is useful if you don't have Theocracy but you have a lot more monks. You can still get some use out of them doing this. But it's not the fastest way. If you can control group, if you practice control grouping all the time, then you'll definitely get a hang of it and you'll find it quite easy to do. But again, failing that, one thing you can do is just simply hope you have Theocracy. If you don't before then you have to be at quite a good distance and still have scouting of this, so you can set all your monks to start converting, because you don't want them all to actually convert at once. You don't want to like get through half of them, they're all going to convert, and then all of a sudden all these monks convert one single night and you lose all your faith. So again, just keep them over your amount, although some of these did lose their faith. The further away the better. Try and convert the ones closer to the monks first, that way you're probably going to have less chance of converting with a bunch of monks and losing faith in all of them. But that's kind of the basics. In Monk Wars where you don't really have any other units, for example if you end up in, you know, you've got Burmese against Slavs for example, and you just want to have a quick Monk War. Slavs obviously are not in the better position there, but it can still work for them. The one way G-Man does this, just to mention anyone in particular, is he assigns an idle military hockey. Mine for idle villager is tab, and my idle military is the one above it, to the left of the one. And you just hit idle military button and you would just right click on each of the monks, or if you choose to use this as a normal way, just knights or whatever, and you should be able to convert decently fast. That's kind of the key for using monks. As soon as you do something like pull off the strategy I've got listed as Fast Imp Monk Treb for example on the Aoe2 Arena YouTube channel, then you're going to be in quite a good position when you get block printing Theocracy. These sets with good Imperial monks are really, really strong if you learn to control group your monks like this. Light Cav can't actually do too much against block printing monks as long as you are constantly keeping an eye on your monks. You have block printing. Every time you're like not using them, you're looking away. If you go to look back at your economy to make some villagers for example, then just select all your monks, send them back a bit, go to your town centre or whatever it is, come back, and you're fine. This does limit your hotkeys a little bit, or your control groups rather, so you can't just control group your town centres. But you could always use your hotkeys. H for TC, Q is my barracks for example. You're often going to have a situation where you're going to have a lot of spears though. And I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration of that.